Hi, I'm Calvin Morris from Elite Care Services, and this is Elite Care Conversations. Thank you for taking the time to show an interest in the interview processes for Elite Care Services and what we are trying to achieve. That is quite simple. All that we're trying to do is to make sure that the awareness and the stigma around the bad part of care, as it is seen via the media, is squashed, and that we can deliver good quality content, good interviews and great information from the people who work on the front line of the care industry in the care homes and nursing homes. I hope that you enjoy this podcast. Hi, this is Calvin back with another episode of Elite Care Conversations, and once again have a very interesting guest on today. I have Anne-Sophie from a very interesting and unique service to care called Famileo, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. We went to the care show as Elite Care Services a month or two ago in London. And we saw this service and straight away I understood it and got it. And as we were talking just before we started recording, I absolutely love it. I think the price point is amazing. And I'm going to hand over now to you to just tell us a bit about the company and what you do. So welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming on. And can you just tell us a bit about the company?
Thank you for inviting me to this. So Famileo is a French company, was created 7 years ago now. And we work now with 3,000 care homes in helping them to keep them communication between the families, the residents, and the staff in the care home. We started to develop abroad in the UK after having a lot of requests from care homes over there about 2.5 years ago. That's when I joined the company. I was first a service user at Famileo. About 5 years ago, I subscribed to their service to stay in touch with my grandmother, with the rest of my family, my cousins and my parents, aunts and uncles. I really enjoyed, and I still enjoy, using Famileo because it really helped me to keep this communication with my grandmother and keep her updated of what's happening in the family, and also see what my cousins are doing wherever they live in the world. And so, I joined the company to develop Famileo in the UK, and now we've grown. Since 2.5 years, we now have 210 care homes working with us, some large care groups, but also smaller ones and independent homes. So it's been a nice journey that I hope will continue for a long time.
And I'm sure that it will. So you described it to me as essentially like a private social media, which can be used at a level similar to your own personal use of the platform, which was for your family. And then we talked a little bit about individual residents or service users in a care home, and then at a care home level. So can you just tell me, can you kind of break those things down? Because I think they're important. There's kind of two different ways of using it there.
Yeah, so Famileo as one service for individual families. As you said, it's an app, like a social media, but very private, on which all the family members can join this private space just for them and upload whenever they want a message and a photo. A little bit like a very private Instagram. So all the cousins can see everyone's post, and depending on the frequency that you choose, each month it will create a family publication, what we call a gazette, that is printed with all those photos and messages and sent to the home address of your loved one. So my grandmother, every month, she receives in the post this little gazette with 20 pages, and inside she has all the photos and messages that we have posted on the app, so she doesn't have to use technology at any time. And then we have another service that's for care home. It's basically the same. The only difference is that when the care homes subscribe to Famileo, all the families can have access to the service for free, because it's the care home who pays a fee. And they print the gazettes. It's usually more frequently, like it's every 2 weeks. So their residents every 2 weeks get their personalized little family publication gazettes And then they can also message back the families. So on their app, the families not only will have access to a wall to put their messages for grandma, they will also receive the news from the care home to see everything that the staff has been doing with their loved one living in that care home. And they can also do their own publication, their own internal newsletter, because we figured out that as they send a lot of photos to the families, it would be good if they could like drag and drop, like put all those photos into a nice little booklet that we call an internal newsletter to print in the care home and give to their residents, but also visitors, CQC maybe, and families when they come in to show them what has been going on in the care home.
I literally, as we started talking, I said to you about, I've got a young family and we're constantly using our phones for photos and videos. And me and my wife are always saying, oh, we should like print this up into a booklet. And, we'll get to the, maybe in the summer, like now we're like suddenly halfway through another year, or we'll get to Christmas or New Year and we'll say, we'll do that. We'll make an album, an annual album or something. And we just don't do it. And it gets forgotten about. And we did start backing all of our pictures up onto a Google Drive, but not everybody's tech savvy, which I think is what's really important about what you do. Also, like I say, my personal experience, I'm literally probably going to sign up to this after we stop talking, because I think it's really good, and it's really important for me to log those memories of my daughters growing up. So there's a physical element to this where it can be posted to anybody that you like, really, because there's not a limit, is there? It's not just for one family member. For example, you mentioned if you have two sets of grandparents or grandparents that aren't together, live in separate locations, or parents or whoever it might be, then you can have as many physical copies as you like, sent to different people, but then the digital versions are always there. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you want to send 10 gazettes to 10 different people, you just have to take 10 subscriptions. Or if you have 10 loved ones living in the same care home who subscribe to Famileo, it will be free for you. But then you, as a family member, on your app, you will also have access to the family publication, the gazette, that you can print or see or store in a Google Drive. But it's really nice also, just as a personal experience, when I visit my grandmother, we always go through the gazette together. It's a really nice thing to talk about. And she's been keeping her gazette for like 5 years now.
Wow.
So she has this whole family history, as you said. And I'm sure that when she will pass away, we will keep this as a family history, because it's like those photo albums that were made automatically from our day-to-day uploads and from all the family. So it's really nice.
Yeah, that's very powerful. And I don't think I've never seen anything like this ever, really. I think it's an incredible idea. And we talked a little bit about COVID, and the times that everybody's been through, and now we've got new challenges happening, and people are too busy to keep things documented. And I was personally 40 last year, and I don't know where that time's gone. And I had a bit of a reflection year last year myself, and it's just very interesting that we have all this technology in our pocket, and we're all taking photos, videos, whatever it might be, and then your phone breaks and you haven't backed it up. And the amount of people who I've seen, they might drop a phone, and it breaks, and they're heartbroken because they've gone, oh, there's a year or a year and a half's worth of memories, which is the average time we update a phone, a year, maybe 2 years, and they never backed it up, and it's lost. And I've done that before. I've broken a phone, or it just stopped working, and just lost 2 years of my memories. And that's exactly what this does. So you said that yourself, that you spend some time in France and some time in the UK. So if somebody was interested in this, if there was a care home owner or an individual who's got a loved one in a care home in the UK, what's the best way for them to contact? Is it direct through the website? Is there an email address, social media? What's the best ways to get in contact with you guys there?
Well, there's the familiopro.com website, where you will have, well, you can contact us. I think that the easiest way, there's the email address on the website. It's sales@famileo.com.
Right.
And we're happy to travel to the care home or to do a presentation online, which usually takes a little bit less time,
Yeah.
and you can do it wherever you are. So it might be easier for a director or home manager sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's great. Can we just talk a bit more about like the two-way communication, the internal newsletter section for care homes? Because we've talked about the, you know, the private side or the personal side, or maybe if you had a loved one in a care home. But you told me some really, really good features around the, you know, that a care home can buy in. And we'll talk about price in a minute. I can't believe how cheap it is personally. I think it's absolutely incredible. But yeah, can you just tell me about that two-way communication, the internal newsletter, and those parts and how that works?
Yeah, so the Famileo app is for the families. They upload their messages and photos for their loved one and receive the one from the care home. The care home has also access to a different app, the professional app of Famileo, on which they have two buttons, and they can send either a photo and a message to all the families connected to their care home on Famileo, or to one family in particular, so a more private message. And it has been used by care homes to show the activities they've been doing in the care home, to introduce new staff members, to invite also to some events that they are doing in the care home. And what's really nice, and we've seen, is that the message doesn't go only to the next of kin, unlike what you would have maybe on a care managing software. You only have usually the next of kin who has access to this information. Whereas on Famileo, you're reaching out to the cousins, the other generation as well, the grandchildren, even maybe the great grandchildren. So you're showing what's going on in your care home, in a care home in general, to this younger generation who might not know what a care home looks like. And we've done this survey in France after implementing Famileo for 5 years. So it was done about 3 years ago. And it showed that for 18% of the people who responded that were not coming to care homes before, never visiting, after using Famileo, they started to visit. And I think it's because with all those photos that they received from the care home, they felt a little bit maybe less scared to visit a care home. They felt like they knew a bit more, and maybe they were seeing also photos and names of the staff members, so they wouldn't feel more like an outsider when coming into the care home. So it does not replace visits. Actually, it even makes it more easy for people to visit care homes. It's a really nice way to build this strong relationship with the family members and not just the next of kin again. And then with all those photos that you send all the time to the families when you use Famileo, and be very proactive with the platform, whenever you want on your computer, on your Famileo back office account where you have everything stored, you can just drag and drop those photos and messages into a very easy template that will automatically create your newsletter. You can do it whenever you want, and this has been used in many different ways. Maybe just to show everything that has been going on in the past month, so that when someone come in and you're like, I don't know, this month just ran so fast. Well, you have this booklet and you can review everything that you've actually done, and show also families. Maybe for some residents who are living with dementia, they tend to forget maybe what they've been doing. So it's a nice way to show the families that they have been doing this and this. But also others have used this template to create more personalized booklets for like one resident in particular, maybe about a birthday celebration that they made. Just as you said, again, like a photo album as a souvenir and memory. Or unfortunately, when a resident passed away, this template has also been used as a remembrance booklet, again, for the family to show them all the photos that they've been taking in the care home, all the joyful and happy moments that their loved one had in the care home, to show the family that they should not feel any guilt and that their loved one was happy in the care home. They made the right choice. So it's a nice also for this relationship after their loved one passed away, I think.
And I think that you've really hit the nail on the head there. I think that although it sounds a little bit odd, I've studied, sort of end of life and people's like final wishes and regrets is actually probably a very strong subject, and I think that most people regret not spending time with people.
Mm,
And look, the world can be a horrible place in terms of, things like cancer. I think cancer has touched everybody. At a certain age, I remember somebody saying to me, like, your life will be affected by cancer. Everybody knows somebody. And I can't remember, probably around the age of 25, that then people that either worked with us, for us, family members, started to get affected and, by cancer, and ultimately went on to die.
mm,
And I'm thinking of my granddad now, but if we had this years ago, this would be something that would be incredible to look back on, but we didn't. And I set a reminder on the anniversary of his death when he died, and it went off last month. And I said to my mum, it's like 5 years since he died, and we were like, wow, how has that time gone?
mm.
And he didn't get to see my children growing up and things, and that's obviously, can be a sore point for people. And literally for almost no money, this sort of puts solutions in place. So you told me about some pricing earlier. There's a family price and then a care home price. And then you explained about the only time that goes up is if they have the publication going out to more than one
Yeah.
person. So can you just tell me about that? Because I just think I can't believe that it's as cheap as it is, to be honest. I think it's an
Mm.
incredible price.
For individual families, if they want one family publication per month, so it's up to 30 messages, it's £5.99.
Yeah.
And then for the care home, when they subscribe to Famileo, if they have up to 55 residents, it's £45 per month. So this is the fee for smallest care home. It's a little bit higher if you have a bigger care home, because when you pay this fee, you subscribe for all your residents. So
Yes.
all families can use the system for free. And obviously you get access to those other tools that I explained previously.
So in a care home of that size, it's the equivalent of £1.40 or something. Without doing the maths exactly, it's the equivalent of
Mm,
£1.40 per resident that's living in the home. But the
yeah.
entire home and entire families, get access to this all included.
Yeah, and you're not going to pay more if you get more families. So maybe it's very difficult for care home to 100 participation. I won't lie, because some residents don't have family members anymore. But we
Sure.
set up this fixed price because there are these other tools, especially the newsletter, that can be used no matter how many families you have on the platform, obviously. And also we've been starting to do this work of helping care homes to match their residents who do not have family with volunteers from their local communities, so that the Gazette, this family publication, becomes a friend and community publication, so that every resident can get something, and you get your local community involved as well in the process. And it's not time consuming for anyone, because once you've matched the volunteer, it's just up to them to upload things on the app. But as you said earlier, everybody always have their phone in their pocket, so it's in 2 seconds you can publish something, and the resident you're matched with will receive something on the next Monday in form of a newsletter for him.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm at genuinely, I'm literally going to sign up for this in a minute when we finish recording this podcast. It's something that I've been thinking about for years and not considered there's a solution for it. So look, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so
We're
much.
gonna sort of push and promote this for you. So the website, just to make sure that the spelling is correct, is famileo.com.
Yes.
So if anybody who's listening to the podcast on Spotify or elsewhere, that's what the website is. And on YouTube, we will drop a link below the video on this podcast as well. And look, thank you very much for coming on. Genuinely wish you and the company all the best for the future. it is definitely a business that I can see growing massively. And I think that you're in the right space, and I think that CQC, which is the Care Quality Commission in the UK, which governs all care homes, if they're not already familiar with this, I'm sure that they will absolutely love this as well, because it's it's about being sort of person centered and looking after the people in the care homes, but also that outside communication.
Yeah.
It's I think all of us had personal experience of being in one building and not being able to leave at any time we choose during COVID and the pandemic. And I think to start with, me included, I thought, oh, this is good. We're at home and I'm spending time with the family. And then as the days and the weeks and, ultimately turned into a few months rolled by, it actually became very isolating.
Yeah.
And there was the growth of depression, and although this isn't directly linked to care homes, but the level of suicides and things went up because people were disconnected. And what this product does, I think that the future of the business has so much more reach than maybe even that you guys have even thought about yet. There's so
Yeah.
much more. I've got a very good friend who he's lived all over the world. He currently lives in New York. And he's got friends in Australia and Thailand. Australia, New York, America, the UK. He's originally from Mauritius. He would love this. He would love this
Mm.
because he can, bring all that stuff together,
Yeah.
and reflect on it. So, well, look, I think I've pushed it enough for you. I think if anybody
Yeah. Thank
listens
you
to
so
this
much.
and I can't think of somebody that this wouldn't apply to, like an individual. It literally could hit everybody on so many different levels. So
Mm.
I think it would be bizarre if somebody listened to this entire podcast, got to this point, and didn't at least go and look at it to
Mm.
see what it is. So yeah, look, we'll end there. Thank you very much for coming
Thank
on.
you so much for your time.
And yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this interview on Elite Care Conversations. I'd just like to say the only way that we're going to be able to make a difference and reach a wide audience is if people like, comment and share this video. Please feel free to do that. It very much helps the cause of the reason that I've decided to do this. Also, if you enjoyed what we're doing, could you please give us a 5-star review either on Google or on Spotify or on YouTube or whichever platform it is that you are watching this on. If you are watching it on YouTube, please do subscribe for future notifications about the different videos that we're going to be uploading. And thank you very much. I'll see you on the next one.